Continuing the war against Ukraine is the Kremlin's priority. In 2025, the Kremlin plans to spend about 40% of its budget on national defense and internal security, which includes not only spending on the military and weapon production, but also on security forces that fight dissent in the Federation. This is more than spendings on education, healthcare, social policy, and the national economy combined.
Draft three-year budget proposals seen by Bloomberg News show the government intends to increase defense spending to 13.2 trillion rubles. It's $142 billion in 2025 from 10.4 trillion rubles projected for this year, putting it at 6.2% of gross domestic product. Military expenditure is planned to decline to 5.6% of GDP in 2026 and 5.1% in 2027, according to Bloomberg calculations based on the draft data from Bloomberg publication. At the moment, the issue of the insane share of government spending in domestic investment is a very serious and urgent problem for Russia. The entire machine-building complex of the Federation is now relying on government investment, on the huge amount of money that the Russian budget allocates to the military-industrial complex. And then there is a very serious question about resources and overheating of the economy. There is a sharp increase in resource prices due to increased state regulation, because this is how the economic model works.
Spending on the so-called classified items in the budget will also increase by the third compared to 2024. Experts believe that the allocated funds will be also related to Russia's continued war against Ukraine.
This crazy amount of money is also fueling inflation in an economy overheated by war. So, in 2025, incomes will certainly rise for the military, police, security officers, skilled workers and engineers, and, of course, large businesses associated with Putin's regime. Prosperity will gradually continue to move from large cities to single industry towns built around Soviet-era military factories, but this will be a temporary phenomenon. In the end, inflation will eat up this profit from the war. The rest of the budgetary workers, however, will be in the worst situation. Ivan Preobrazhensky, political scientist, expert on Central and Eastern Europe, in his column in Deutsche Welle.
Teachers, doctors, utility workers and pensioners will be worse off next year. If before the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, spending on social policy were the largest, now Russians who are not involved in the military sector cannot expect an increase in salaries and social benefits. They plan to spend only 6.8 trillion rubles on the social policy. Almost 1.5 trillion rubles will be spent on education and healthcare each. According to the Headhunter service, the lowest salaries in Russia are paid to educators, nannies and teachers. At the same time, the real value of existing salaries and benefits will continue to decline due to inflation and the rise in the price of goods.
What is happening in Russia now is very much reminiscent of the last decades of the Soviet Union, when crazy money was spent on the military-industrial complex while consumer goods and foodstuffs were in very serious short supply.
As experts explain, the Kremlin can increase spending on the military sector not only by saving money on social welfare. Increasing taxes and excise duties is another obvious measure. Moscow is also counting on revenues from the sale of resources, gas and oil. However, export profits are gradually but steadily decreasing due to sanctions. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Larisa Petruk, UATV News.